Hey, it's the Morning X, the original 99X, Barnes and Leslie. There's just two of us right now. Only two. Fran, would we be called Marvelous 2?
Yeah, we would be Marvelous 2.
Well, what happened? How could we possibly make it Marvelous 3?
Let me think about that.
If you have an idea, maybe give us a call, 470-741-4999, or maybe I could just snap my fingers and look at that. Now we're Marvelous 3.
Woo!
Butch Walker.
Hey, what's up?
What is going on, my friend?
A lot, apparently. So, yeah, it's been a very cool start to 2023, I suppose. So we've got some.
I have to say, this is so strange, Butch, that we're talking to Butch Walker on 99X again. What happened? This is crazy.
We fell asleep and woke up, and here we are. Nothing's changed.
Yeah, what's been happening since then? And by the way,
somebody crawled into bed and put some gray coloring in my hair. I don't know what happened.
I'm with you.
I woke up and had some gray.
I'm with you.
So,
This is a video segment. If you'd like to see Butch on all of our socials, you can chime right in there. And then you're gonna the question you're going to have is not about Butch or about me. It's about what dungeon is Leslie Fram in.
I'm sorry. It is. I don't have professional lighting. Butch is a producer, artist. Barnes, you're in a world of your own.
I just have windows open. That's all.
I'm in a dungeon. I'm back at Masquerade. Sorry.
Well, that's it. Fram is at the Masquerade. Well, Butch has a very special announcement we will get to. Well, we want to catch up first.
Yes.
And this is something you want to pay attention to some details. So I want to give you that time to prepare yourself for what Butch. Butch, you're just all over the map. You have so much going on.
I'd better busy than bored, I guess.
Yeah.
I think I've said that a bunch, but it's true. I'd rather just keep busy doing stuff and making music whenever I'm not playing music.
If you listen really closely right now, listen. Is that a lawnmower at your house,
It's
Butch?
lawnmowers, man. They decided today of all days to cut. There's like an onslaught of like 5 lawnmowers out there now. Cutting the farm.
I do want to ask Butch about this because he does so many cool projects. You have this concept record that you put out called Glenn.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, where did that idea come from? Because it was a great record, by the way, and I think your fans really dug it. But how did that concept come up to do Glenn?
Well, guitar is my main instrument, so I've always kind of defaulted to that when I write songs, and I write differently on guitar than I would on, say, a piano. And there was this special piano that came back into my life recently, which was whenever I first made any real money off of making music, which would have ironically been probably a royalty check for Freak of the Week from my old band, The Marvelous 3. And I bought my mom a baby grand Yamaha piano. And it lived in my house for a while, but then when I moved to Los Angeles for 16 years, I gave it to my mom. And she put it in the house, and she loved it. I grew up listening to my mom play piano. She played in the church, that I grew up going to in Cartersville. And so when I got settled back into Tennessee, which is where we are now, and I got a studio set up, built here where I'm at right now. My mom, after my dad passed in 2013, she wanted to downsize the house and, get out of there, which was totally understandable. So she didn't really have any room for the piano anymore. And so she said, hey, well, I'm going to give it back to you, but it's still mine. And I said, yeah, of course it is. So she let me bring it up here and put it in the studio, which is what I used to cut a lot of records on. And so getting reunited with that piano, I remember I wrote a lot of stuff off of there was a record I wrote called Letters on that piano, which I wrote a lot of the songs on, which was definitely a fan favorite record for sure. And I just, that was kind of that record at the time. I was really kind of, revisiting a lot of my roots of, everything from Jackson Browne to Elton John to Todd Rundgren to Billy Joel and people like that I grew up loving, that were these piano balladeers. And so when I got this piano back up here, the first thing I did is I sat down, and it just immediately, I I don't know how spiritual I am, but I definitely know there's cosmic connection and kinetic energy with certain instruments. And I sat down on that piano and I just started writing songs immediately. And that doesn't always happen when you play on an instrument. Sometimes the instrument has to pick you, I suppose. And it was just like, it was like I'd never left it. And all of a sudden, all these songs started coming out of me. And it was like, oh, this is going to be a piano, balladeer record for sure. And so I made this concept of making this character that's like a 70s, 80s, whatever, kind of a struggling artist who's stuck playing clubs, which I can relate to very well in my early years of like playing to just the bartenders and to people having fist fights in the background, and you're just background music. And so the whole record is sort of like this, it's seen in a bar with this guy who is obviously kind of lonely and has a lot of sad things to say, and so that's where Glenn came from. Also, my middle name and my great uncle.
Great
Glenn.
record. Thank you for sharing that.
Butch Walker, farmer / rock star.
Yeah, I have other people cutting my field right now.
You mentioned something that I think those of us who aren't rock stars don't even understand. When you hit that breaking point of getting that check for Freak of the Week is what you think it was. Do you remember the moment getting your first check like that? That was a celebration. What was that like?
I do. I remember, and I probably called Leslie from Bearsville Studios in New York, which is where they made like Jeff Buckley's Grace and all these other records. The Dylan and the band, the band started the studio up there, legendary place, which I modeled my barn after.
Oh, really?
Because, I made so many amazing moments in that barn studio up there, including finishing the album Hey Album for Marvelous 3, which had Freak of the Week on it, because you guys started playing the song and it blew up at radio, and we didn't even have a record finished.
Wow.
And it needed to be like properly recorded, and I had done all of it in a bedroom in Atlanta. And so basically I got my first publishing deal off of the success of that song at radio. So I remember John Tita, Warner Brothers Music at the time, and they drove in the snow from New York City up to Bearsville to have me sign my first publishing deal. And it was, at the time, a lot of money, and more money than I'd ever seen.
Your first actual check, do you remember getting that?
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's not like the Cinderella story of go to the mailbox and it's there.
Oh, I was hoping.
I wish, but there's lawyers and back and forth,
Yeah.
and then the money gets finally transferred into an account somewhere. So you never have that like Publishers Clearinghouse moment where you're standing there with a giant check. But the moment I did have was definitely sitting in the kitchen at Bearsville Studios at like 1 a.m. signing my publishing deal for that check, and literally tears, like I was crying for sure, because definitely I'd been poor my whole life and never had any money from making music, and I worked my ass off. I will say I worked really hard, playing 200 shows a year for a decade straight, and
that's why I was asking. Just the fact that you busted your ass so long, and then you had that moment, and then you look at at that time, not your phone, probably your computer, at your balance, and you just go,
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And then you bought what? What was that first purchase?
Well, besides the piano, I bought a car.
A car. That is so cool.
I bought like I think I bought like a 1972 Buick Grand Sport convertible. It was metallic green, like candy apple green with like white with a white vinyl top and white leather seats, and got stolen out of my driveway 6 months later. But I made memories in that car.
So, Butch, some of my favorite memories from 99X, honestly, were about Marvelous 3 and all the incredible stuff that we did with you guys. So much fun. And now, looking back, you've become this really successful producer, probably one of the most versatile producers I've ever known, because you can jump from genre to genre. Like, you can produce a rock band, an Americana artist, a pop artist. But a lot of the bands that we played at 99X, you've been producing, like Weezer and Green Day and the Wallflowers. Then obviously you've produced Americana, singer-songwriter, pop artist. What makes you decide to work with an artist?
Well, I really just, I feel like I'm lucky and happy that people just want me to work on their records, because in this day and age you can get any kid with a funny misspelled nickname and call yourself a producer and go make records for people, and there's a lot of talent out there too. So
but dude, everyone you meet wants you. Taylor Swift, Green Day, all the bands she mentioned.
It's been fun because I've made good friends out of that. Those all started as friendships, I think. A lot of those started as like weird things. Like the Taylor thing started as me covering a song of hers and posting it online, and then the next day waking up to a phone call from her wanting me to like play that version with her on the Grammys, and then go in the studio and work on some songs, which we did, and then getting to co-produce or getting to produce a co-duet with her and Ed Sheeran for her record, and then same with Green Day and same with Weezer. These are all people that I just kind of met with, and kismet mixed with just chemistry, having those things with people, because not everything works out, not everything is connected. Not every artist gets on with a proposed producer, so and vice versa. So I guess I've been lucky. Some of those people have ended up being great people, and I get to work with them in the studio and help them make their records, and it's a cool day job. I gotta say, it's a really cool day job.
Any cool stories come to mind from those sessions? Like anything wild that has happened that you remember, like thinking about it right now? What comes back?
Well, there's a lot of them. I mean, I think one of the funniest, it wasn't funny at the time, but one of the funniest things I ever did, like experienced in the studio, was when I said yes for some strange reason. I said yes to working with Lindsay Lohan on a couple of songs, and this was in the height of the Lohan. This was at peak Lohan, and I get flown to New York City to work in the studio because that's where she is that week, and bring my engineer up, I set up everything, we get everything ready to go, and the first day she doesn't even show up, doesn't bother to show up. And this is not like, I'm not used to that. I'm just used to like people like being professional and knowing what they're doing, and I feel bad. I'm not here to like talk shit or talk mess about her, but like I know that at the time she was really young and really, battling maturity and probably other things too. But, she comes in, she doesn't come in that whole day. And at late that night, I finally get a phone call from her, and she's like, "Hey," and I was like, "Yeah, where were you?" And she's like, "Oh, I went shopping." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's very, very unapologetic of you." And, I kind of had to be like, I'm not just this person that's getting paid by the hour that comes here and just sits, and I'm getting paid whether I do this or not. I'm only getting paid if I do the job, and you've got to show up to do the job. So the next day she shows up with about six kids in tow of other friends and stuff like that. She had her like BFF and her assistant and her little sister and all these people that I think probably are the people that surround her with too much too much yes, you're amazing. And so she comes in finally, and I play it back, the track, what we're gonna work on, and her BFF immediately has opinions. Which is not a musician or anything.
So they're in the studio just going, "Yeah, not feeling that. If you could just..."
Yeah. Which immediately I'm
entourage.
like, I keep getting up to like walk away, like leave, and the girl that I'm working with on it, who co-wrote the songs, is like pulling me back to the chair and like begging me to stay. And I'm just like, this is not, I have no tolerance for this. Plus at the time, I probably had enough of an ego where I was just like, I don't need this in my life. I don't need this. And so, but like, that was, I signed up for it. So I signed up for the train wreck. So like, I've got to see it through.
Did it come out?
And, oh yeah, it did. But like, there was that day that, she goes out to finally sing on the microphone, and she opens up her mouth and the first line comes out, and she cracked. and it's it's like that, and then instead of just like being like, okay, let's, sorry, I got to warm up, let's do that again, because I don't know if she's ever had any vocal training or anything like that. So instead of that, it was like a 4-alarm fire drill. It was like, my voice, something happened to my voice, something happened to my voice, oh my God. And then the little sister is crying, the assistant is running around panicking with like a BlackBerry, calling doctors, and it was like, I was like, funny. I'm in a Woody Allen movie right now. Something, this is like, what is going on? And so I run outside to call my manager and say, change my plane ticket to leave today, because I'm not staying here for this. And while I'm on the phone with him, 2 white coat doctors already like stumble over,
really?
Like paparazzi waiting outside to catch pictures of her, like trip over them to come in the door. Like it was like 15 minutes tops.
A different world.
I'm still yelling on the phone with my manager, and they come in. And then, I walk back in, and they're like, they're fine, they're leaving already. And I was like, so what's wrong? Is her voice like ruined? And they're like, no, her voice is fine. We did get rid of, we Botoxed a zit though on her forehead.
It's like a pit stop.
So I was just like,
oh man.
So that I don't know how I got through the rest of that. I actually didn't get through the rest of it. I went and did as much of it myself, and made the co-writer finish vocals with her.
Too bad it wasn't now. You could just use AI and you'd be set. Just get the Lindsay Lohan AI. It's much more cooperative.
Yeah, well, nowadays, you could just get an AI producer and songwriter probably as well, and it would be marginally good.
All right, well, let's get to the news. It's
this is
time.
Unbelievable.
We've got a couple minutes left here, so we want to drop it. What is happening?
Oof.
Way back before AI and before cell phones existed and social media, there was a band called the Marvelous Three that we had, and this was around '98, I think. And or you would know if you listened to 99X coming up, because they played the hell out of Freak of the Week, which changed our lives from that day forward. And we are getting the band back together.
Man, everyone's doing it. It's time for Marvelous 3.
Everybody's doing it. But there's a reason why. We've never really thought it was like a thing we wanted to ever do. We've always enjoyed each other. We're best friends. We literally have stayed best friends even after breaking up back in like 2000 or whatever it was. We love each other. Me and Jason Slug, we are like as thick as thieves. But we never thought there was an opportune time until we realized this is the 25th anniversary of the release of the Hey album, which has that beloved song Freak of the Week on it. And so it's coming out this fall. The record will be coming out. Actually, we're going to, announce a show as well in Atlanta. We're going to do a big show.
I have that information, and it's going to be Friday, October 27th at the Tabernacle, presented by 99X. And here's where you pay attention. The pre-sale is this Thursday, April 27th, 10 a to 10 p. That's the 99X pre-sale, and then on sale to the non-99X world, which would be everyone else, because there's 20 people that would qualify for the pre-sale that listen to our station, and then everyone else on Friday the 28th at 10 a.m., you can get your tickets for the Marvelous 3.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I remember shows at the Tabernacle with the Marvelous 3.
Legendary.
And Butch, I was reminded of what an incredible performer you are when I saw you at Pilgrimage. You have fans, loyal fans, and just to watch your fans alone is another show.
Thank you. We that part of me never left. That we always cared about giving people in the Marvelous 3. We cared about giving people the best show they could ever get for their money, and also growing up, those kind of shows changed our lives and made us want to do this. And so the amount of people I've met along the way that started bands from coming to our shows and still play to this day just warms my heart and humbles me, because I can't believe that even is a thing. But it's going to be awesome. We're gonna go back to where I'd say where it kind of ended.
Well, you know what? Ironically, where it ended, I believe, was at a 99X on the Brick show at Centennial Park.
100%.
In the summer of 2001, I remember us saying, "This is it. The final." I was there. The final show, and that's it. The book is closed, and now we're reopening.
And this is it. Yeah, this is right back where we left off. So we're very excited. The set list is going to be bananas. It's essentially that and the Ready Sex Go album and lots of surprises. And we're going to have
sweet
video screens and all kinds of. It's going to be a full on like major production. And who knows if we can sell enough tickets on the first one, we might even add a second show.
Oh, there you go.
You will. You're going to break the internet this week.
So we're going to hopefully going to sell that one as quick as possible, and maybe even try for a second. I don't know, but if we even just do one, we are happy.
Thank you very much. You heard it from the man himself. Marvelous 3 back together for an album and for a tour. October 27th.
And a new album.
And a new record.
That's what I said.
Well.
New record. Oh, yeah. A record like vinyl.
Vinyl. The Hey album will be released on vinyl for the first time ever for the 25th anniversary, and a new record to boot.
Well, we want to get back together with you and the band before then. Okay.
They would love that. We would all love that.
Celebration. Absolutely.
All right.
Count on it.
Marvelous 3, Friday, October 27th, the Tabernacle presented by 99X. Tickets go on sale for 99X peeps this Thursday, and for everyone else on Friday. Butch Walker, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I
love
Butch.
you guys.
You're the
best.
best.
You guys have been so great to us. Thank you so much. We're so excited to have you back on the air.